From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
Well, it looks like we are going to be looking at continued sunny and hot conditions here for the inland areas, but really today and tomorrow, I think we're going to see temperatures drop a bit, and it's going to be a bit more bearable when we're talking about the heat for the inland areas in Trinity County in particular. But the warming trend, there's a warming trend after that, and it will peak sometime around Friday and Saturday before we see the temperatures begin to drop again. But no major heat waves looking down the pike here, looking down the next couple of weeks. So just kind of your typical summer trend here with those fairly warm temperatures inland and for Trinity County. So again, not quite as hot as it has been. We are going to be looking at hazy and smoky skies though as we progress through the day today. Temperatures will be in the mid-90s inland and for the coast in the low 60s. Also seeing the hazy and smoky conditions here for Trinity County. I think we're going to be hovering around that 100-degree mark for places like Weaverville, Hayfork, and not to mention Lewiston, but again, not quite as hot as it has been. So there is the flat fire in southwestern Oregon. Now, it really depends on the activity of that fire, but as we see these plumes of smoke develop, that north wind, see how those winds are blowing from north to south, that transports the smoke over us. So watch what happens as we go into this evening. You see how we're starting to see the smoke begin to kind of pick up a little bit. Now, when you're looking at these gray colors, that's just basically haze. When you start getting into the yellow and even some of those orange colors around here, you start to maybe smell some of that smoke. So you'll notice this is the worst air quality here around the vicinity of the fire. Now, of course, since Delnor County is so close to that fire, not to mention Crescent City, for example, this is where you're going to see the worst air quality, and not to mention smelling a lot of that smoke as well. Now, as we go into tonight and tomorrow, you see how it gets even worse. And what happens is we begin to see with the cooler temperatures that smoke settles down into many of those inland valleys and it gets even worse there. So we probably will smell some of that smoke as we go into tonight and tomorrow morning for Trinity County, not to mention Humboldt County and even Delnor County. And then as we go into Wednesday afternoon, you see how we begin to see a little bit of relief from that smoke. But bottom line, the hazy and smoky conditions will continue to be a factor in our forecast as we progress for the rest of the week, as long as the flat fire is burning in southwest Oregon. Now you can see as we go into this afternoon into tomorrow, there's tomorrow morning and afternoon. Really, you can see by 5 p.m., we're just looking at more in the way of clouds. So it's that typical pattern for the coast where we do see days where we get to see some clearing, others days not so much, but of course, outside of the haze and smoke, plenty of sunshine for the inland areas and for Trinity County as well. Now, there is a small crash advisory that will expire tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. That's for the immediate coast right here. And for the coast down to the south, we do have a small crash advisory that expires at 9 a.m. Now, out to sea, we have a gale warning that expires at 3 a.m. tomorrow morning, so basically tonight. And here's the reason why. Here's today at 6 p.m., we do have some fairly high wave heights here, even as you get closer to the coast as well. As we go into tonight and tomorrow in particular, notice those wave heights are starting to drop. So conditions are expected to improve out to sea here as we go into the next 24 hours or so. Here's a marine forecast for today. Northwest winds at 5 to 15 knots. Waves from the northwest at 7 feet at 7 seconds. And there, of course, is that spell-craft advisory I just mentioned. Temperatures today, as I mentioned, should be somewhere in the upper 90s for places like Weaverville and Hayfork. A little bit cooler out towards the inland areas and much cooler out along the coast as to be expected, right? So temperatures dropping. And then you can see the temperatures go back up by Friday, Saturday, right here, and then they start to dip again. Same story for Trinity County. You see how they're dropping. We go back up to about 100, 104, 103, and then temperatures start to drop after that going into Sunday and Monday. And your 7-day forecast for Eureka, we're really not going to see that spike in the temperature or a big dip in the temperatures either, but generally staying in the low to mid 60s.